I'm Natalia Bonner. Welcome back. All right, so I have already shared just a little sneak peek of this amazing traverse quilt, and I will be sharing more soon in the Piece and Quilt Academy. But as I was working my way through this awesome quilt, I was just obsessed or exploding with creativity, really. So I just have to share a few more fun ideas with you. So this fun design that I'm sharing here today is a design that I used both my Sway 4 and my Sway 3 machine quilting rulers. I used the hook end, so this curved end, to mark out my design, and then I used the circle side and the concave side of the rulers to quilt. So let's pause for just a quick second. If you've not yet seen my brand new Sway machine quilting rulers, here's your chance to learn all about them because they're freaking awesome. The way that I designed all of the Sway machine quilting rulers, so the Sway 5, the Sway 4, and the Sway 3, this hook end right here, this is the Sway 4. This hook end is designed for marking a 4-inch circle. The Sway 5 for a 5-inch and the Sway 3 for a 3-inch. On the ruler, there's even markings that indicate the full circle. And then there's also markings, there's a T and an X that indicate the center of that circle. So they make it really nice for using this end for marking your designs. Then this circular end and also the concave side of the rulers is designed for quilting. So whenever you're machine quilting, if you're working on a sit-down machine or a long arm machine, you need to make sure that you do have a ruler foot on your machine. Pretty much every ruler foot I've ever ran into, the distance from your needle position to the outside of your foot is 1/4 of an inch. Taking that into consideration, that is how I designed the Sway machine quilting rulers. So the hook end for marking and the other 3 sides, you can always use the straight side for quilting straight lines, but then the concave and the circle end for quilting. Okay, so let's get back to it. In this video, you're also going to see that I'm going to be using this fun little cute ruler that I purchased from the Quilted Pineapple. These rulers are great for quilting, but also great for marking. The size is just perfect. So speaking of marking, what am I going to use? You know I love to use the blue Mark Be Gone marker. I like to mark out my markings, and then as I'm working my way through my quilts, I'll use our misting solution, which is 1 cup of water and a teaspoon of baking soda. Put it in our Piece and Quilt misting spray bottle. So I'll quilt like an area, and then I'll mist away all of those markings. You know, once I've moved far enough away from that. And as I'm quilting, that area will be drying, and I can see if I need to go over it and mist it again, as many times as I need to until my markings are removed completely. So throughout this whole quilt, I actually did use 16 different thread colors. In our new exclusive Piece and Quilt Academy video, I will share my full process, including all of those thread colors. But today I'm using the color number 471, so fine. This color just blended perfectly on this row. Then in my bobbin, throughout this whole entire quilt, I am sticking with the pre-wound super bobs. I have been loving the way that these are running here on my Gammo quilting machine. So for now, I'm sticking with what's working best for me. And speaking of my Gammo quilting machine, this is where I'll be doing all of my quilting. I'll be stitching in this stitch regulated mode, and I do have my stitch length set at 13 stitches per inch. Just a reminder, make sure that you do have your ruler foot on your machine, whether it's a sit-down machine or a long arm machine, and you also have a nice, large, flat working surface, which could be an extended base plate, or on a sit-down machine, maybe like a table or a cabinet. You can even set up like ironing boards around to give you a large, flat working surface. So friends, let's hop over to my machine and let's get marking and then quilting. Here's this adorable little border after the machine quilting is all complete. We're going to use my Sway 3 and my Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. First, we'll start out by marking out the foundation of the design, and then we'll quilt it out. So because this border finishes at 2 inches I'm going to choose to mark increments every 2 inches. Why did I choose 2 inches? Well, because it's a really good size. It's a square. So let's say this was like a 3-inch border. I would probably go through here and start out and mark 3-inch increments. On this particular design, I'm just keeping it simple with 2-inch increments. So once I have those 2-inch squares all marked out, now I'm going to start marking the actual quilting design out. So this is the type of design that I don't necessarily need to go through and mark out. I could just use the machine quilting ruler and the marks on it and start quilting. However, sometimes I feel like I just need more reference lines so that I don't confuse myself, especially with a design like this where the lines are crossing over each other. Yes, I probably could figure it out without doing the marking as I'm going, but sometimes it just makes it a little bit easier to have those extra markings. So what I'm doing here is marking out those lines that I will be quilting. I'm going to be quilting half circles in every single one of these squares. So as you can see here, I'm using that hook end of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. Through that hook end, there's a few lines that indicate an X and also a T. I'm lining those marked lines on the ruler up right on top of the marked line that I had marked with the blue Mark Be Gone marker, and also that ditch across the bottom. So where the fabric color switches from the blue to the green. And then I'll flip the ruler. By flipping the ruler and marking that same curved line, then I'm completing where my quilting line is going to go. So this is marking a perfect 4-inch circle, half circle, I should say. Now notice when I'm marking out this design that I'm making sure to mark that second set of curves that crosses over the first set, really creating this fun secondary design. So once I've completed all of that marking with the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler, now I'm going to switch to the Sway 3 machine quilting ruler, and I'm going to repeat that exact same process. So what I'm doing with the Sway 3 machine quilting ruler, again, is marking the line that I'm going to be quilting on. So I'll repeat that process of marking those curves all the way across. Once I have my marking complete, now I'm ready to begin quilting. So I'm using the blue marking on here to indicate, showing you the line that I'm lining up through that circle end of the ruler. I'm lining that line up with my marked line and also along the ditch. So this is the sway 4, and I'm using the circular end of the sway 4, lining the ruler up so that my markings on the ruler are on top of my markings on my quilt, and then stitching those curves. By doing this, I should be able to quilt perfect half circles for 4-inch circles, and the same process using the sway 5 or the sway 3 machine quilting rulers. So you will notice here that as I use that hook end to mark, I'm marking the size of circle that I'm going to be quilting, and then as I use the circular side of the ruler or the concave side, that is the side that I'm using for quilting right on top of the line that I had marked. So once I've quilted out that first set of those circles with the sway 4, now I'm going to travel back across my quilt, stitching the second set of half circles, again using the sway 4 machine quilting ruler. Always remember when machine quilting with rulers that you want to apply gentle pressure. Now I say gentle pressure on my ruler. I'm pressing against the side of my foot very gently, and then also with my machine gliding against the ruler, gentle pressure. All right, let's switch to the sway 3. You can see I'm indicating again with the blue Mark Be Gone marker that I'm lining up those marked lines on the sway 3 machine quilting ruler right on top of those lines that I'd marked through the center and then also along the ditch. Then I'm using gentle pressure, holding my machine quilting ruler and stitching along the line that I had marked using that hook end of the sway 3 machine quilting ruler. So now because I'm quilting those smaller circles, you see that they don't just go one right after another. I'll actually stitch out the half circle, and then I will travel back along my ditch to my previous marking where I'll go right into that next half 3-inch circle. And I'll just repeat that process until I've quilted my way all the way across this row. Now, once I've quilted an area really nicely, that's when I like to start misting away my marked lines and really letting myself see what that design is going to look like once my quilting is all complete. I do like to mist away as I'm going, but then generally once I've removed my quilt from the machine, I will go through and mist again just to make sure that no markings have lingered in the quilt. Always remember to make sure you do have your markings removed 100% before you apply any heat at all. I am so obsessed with how this design is turning out. So you can pick up the Sway 3 and Sway 4 machine quilting rulers on our website, peaceandquilt.com, as well as enroll in the Piece and Quilt Academy, where I will share how I machine quilt the rest of this amazing traverse quilt. Have a great day, everybody.
What do you call a pile of cats? A mountain.
Hey everybody, I'm Natalia Bonner. Happy Monday. All right, I am so obsessed with this adorable traverse quilt. I've already shared a little bit of the machine quilting that I've been doing here, and I will be sharing a lot more in the Piece and Quilt Academy. But as I was working my way through this quilt, I swear my brain was just exploding with creativity, and I had to share some of these fun ideas with you. I seriously get so excited. I can't breathe. Okay, so this fun little design is one that I quilted using my Sway 4 and my Sway 3 machine quilting rulers to mark out and then machine quilt. So this little border is 2 inches. I'm starting over. Hey everybody, I'm Natalia Bonner. Welcome back. All right, so I have already shared just a little sneak peek and missed it again, as many times as I need to until my markings are removed completely. Edit. Okay, so